Oh, my
before we
bad.
get going and start
Okay.
giving out these free money plays,
Yeah.
you,
Talk to
you
him.
gotta you gotta definitely hit that subscribe button. You
Mm.
gotta definitely hit that like button. And you gotta definitely hit that bell so you can get that reminder, so you can get that cash week in and week out. He showed you the stats. There are no lies behind it. We give the
None.
receipts. Follow us. We know what we're talking about. But you can't do that without giving us a little bit of respect by hitting that like, subscribe, and that bell. So please do it from the bottom of my heart.
It's
So we can
crazy,
keep it
man.
going. So we can keep it going. That's all we want to do is
Thousands
keep
of
it going.
people. Thousands
All
of
right.
people see this
We
motherfucking
see
thing,
you
man.
watching us. Don't
We
watch
see
from the
you.
far. Come
Yeah,
in. Come in.
for sure. Big facts. We talked about this earlier. Sharp kind of alluded to it a little bit. To looked at it, and I just really liked it. Almost kind of an auto bet here. They're in the same division. These teams know each other well. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Chargers for my next best bet. Chiefs are -5.5. Total is 47.5. I gotta go with Kelsey. Got to go with Kelsey and his over here. 60, 75 and a half. He's hit this 3 out of the last four, I think it was. Let me double check that. I'm sorry, I'm way off. 4 out of the last 5. He's hit this facing the Chargers. 2 games at home. He had 7 catches for 104. And then the one he didn't hit, he had 5 catches for 51 yards last year. But the last time they played, he had 6 catches for 115 yards and 3 touches. So he does work against the Chargers. He's got a full season. He's played the Chargers 17 games, and over 17 games, he's got 88 catches and 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's a full season against this team in his career already, and it's putting up big numbers. So um, he's the number one target, best tight end in football. Numbers a little bit high, I think. But once him and Mahomes kind of get going, and he sits in that zone that the Chargers play, 10 yards, 15 yards, break a tackle, 25 yards. Give me Travis Kelsey over 75.5 yards passing. All light plays for me this week. Um, the Travis Kelsey bet is going to be a 1 unit bet. The Colts play is a 1 unit bet. Nothing too crazy so far this week. All right.
So I'm right there with you. We talked about it before the pod. I do think sometimes this game can be a little kind of, as Diddy says, boxy in that sometimes it's hard to get yards. I do think sometimes this matchup turns into more of a rock fight than you think. Sometimes it is a shootout, but there have been more than one occasions with Herbert and Mahomes where it turns into a rock fight. That being said, I love in this particular matchup, I love Kelsey over 6.5 catches. That's what we saw it on, right? Is that what you had it on
Yep.
at FanDuel? Because it's not out on DraftKings.
Yep. It is
Yeah.
six
So
and a
so
half.
the last 2 weeks since his ankle's kind of getting better, obviously. I mean, he's getting 11 targets, 9 targets, 9 targets. He just loves this matchup. You've already alluded to it. I mean, you can go back to nearly every game. He averages 10 targets, essentially 10 targets for 7.5 catches and 95 yards against this team. There's no reason to think otherwise. With the receivers coming in and out, they just added Mecole Hardman. Some of these young receivers, I don't think Mahomes trusts. And you just know a big division game here. You know every close third and fourth down, it's going to Kelsey. So unless he has a really bad game where he's got some drops, I think Kelsey will cruise over 6.5 catches here. So it's not a huge bet for me. This is only a 2 unit prop bet just because this is like a history repeats itself bet for me. And I love the 6.5 catches, and I like that you're on yards. So let's hit them both.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
and I'm going to add to that because I forgot that this was a play I wanted to put in last week, and I stayed away from it. I think the line is trying to catch up, but it hasn't yet. And I think that's on Rashee Rice for Kansas City Chiefs. I think last week it was at 2.5 receptions. I think he's hitting over that 2.5 receptions. I want to say over the last 5 games, 4 games, he's hit over that 2.5. And matter of fact, over He only missed 2.5 one time so far this season. So if it's still at 2.5, it might be juiced a little high. If you can find maybe a 3, I would take it over 3. So definitely look at Rashid Rice. He's definitely on my radar for prop bets. And I can't wait to see what his line opens up to. Put some dollars on it. Because Rashid Rice gets those quick little stop routes, quick little screen routes, those quick little, crossing routes. I think they find a way to probably give him the ball.
Yeah, it hasn't dropped yet. It's just the stars so far: Keenan Allen, Palmer, and Kelsey.
That's funny you say that because all the props literally I just refreshed and all the props in that game just dropped.
Yes. What is it?
For Rashid Rice, you want yards?
No, receptions.
It is. Oh,
Well,
they
is
didn't
that
give out receptions. They just dropped all the yards. They didn't drop
okay?
receptions yet. Just the yards are out. His yards
Probably what, 33 and a half,
are
33, 35,
You talking
35 and
about?
a half.
30
You
what?
talking
5
about
and a half? 35 and a half, you
this
said,
one?
right?
35 and a half.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's what I just said. Yeah, I'm not, he gets a lot of the short stuff, so I think he can get over there. But he kind of gets that short stuff. I like his reception though. And if it's 2.5, max play, max play,
So I'm
especially
gonna.
against this Chargers defense. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm gonna switch my play. Go ahead and get it on DraftKings. Kelsey 72 and a half. So with the
Yeah, I
props,
was gonna. Yep. Go ahead.
yeah, with the props, you guys got to understand the yards matter. Obviously, they matter because you want to hit the over, but a yard is huge in props. So you can get caught by the hook. So if you can find the better number, and if it's 3 yards, 3 yards is major in a
Mhm.
prop. Going from
Very.
75 and a half to 72. These guys they get catches and they run backwards. Remember that. Like it's not always forward. They catch a screen, they can lose yards. There's a lot of different things that can happen. Kelsey's a little bit funky. He likes to do the little hook and ladder after he gets a catch too as well. So yeah, you always want to get the best in line, but for props, absolutely you want to get the best line possible that you can find. So let's update this bet. It's not 75 and a half, 72 and a half over there on DraftKings for 1 unit.